Mm.
Welcome to JP. Welcome to JP.
JP's
To JP's. JP's. And JP's from JP's TV.
JP's TV, believe it or don't.
This man's going hard.
And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. We are back live on JPTV, believe it or don't. I really appreciate everyone coming through right now. And I say everyone with emphasis right now. You all been so great to me. I really appreciate that for hanging in there with me and enjoying the journey as well as I am. I have a large panel today. Today is going to be a great and very challenging subject today. And you know who I got in the building. You know who I got in the building, okay? And it's gonna be a tough one. Uh-oh, we got him. Okay, it's gonna be a tough one today. All right, it's gonna be a tough one, but we're gonna stick it on out. Today, the subject is, does racism exist? And before we get to the meat and potatoes of that subject, we're going to just ask the panel a couple of questions and see how they feel about what happened as far as today. The let me get my brother in, see what's going on, as far as what happened with the inauguration today. We're going to just ask some questions to the panel. Then we're going to move on and get into the meat and potatoes, because I'm not going to have you guys for that long. So I am going to be kind of fast today, okay? We're going to move right along with it. And so let me let my panel in. Let everyone introduce themselves. I'll give you a brief introduction. King.
Y'all already know the platform, JP, believe it or don't. We're going live. My name is King, Mr. King, not your nigga. And it's a pleasure to be here with you tonight, JP the Flame.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. And that is wonderful. So, and you know who else I got? Uh-oh. The New Yorker. The New Yorker. He from New York. He black.
He black.
What's up, man? Go ahead and introduce yourself to the world, baby.
My name's Jamond.
All right. All right. You know. All right. Okay, moving on down. I don't know which one to pick now because these two look like cousins. I might get mixed up. These two brothers look like cousins up right here. So I would say the best for last because you already know who's going to be in a confrontation with me. But let's introduce a new brother to the panel. And we got my man, D. What up, D?
What's happening, everybody? I'm Derek with JP at the gym down the street in Capitol Hill. So I'm excited to be on.
Amazing, man. I'm glad that you made it. I also reached out to some other people at the gym. Hopefully they can take a look at this while we're live right now. Okay, but all right, you already know. Cool food are great.
What's happening? I'm ready to dig in somebody's today.
Yeah. Oh, you heard me or something? You heard me?
He's ready to dig in something today. Okay, let me just start off with a couple of questions with the panel today. Okay? Let me just start off with a couple of questions. Let me get it right. Okay. All right. So, fellas, let me ask you. Thank you for joining. Anyone could pick this up. So, Jay, first question. How do you perceive your life? How do you perceive your life?
Gotta ask better questions, man.
How do you perceive your life?
Stressful. I hate fucking being a man.
How do I see my life? My life is whatever I want it to be, man. I've been manifesting shit these last few years, so my life is whatever I choose for it to be that day,
D, what about you? How do you perceive your life?
I think my life pretty simple, to be honest with you. Like, always, everything that since I've been raised as a little kid, God, family, and then everything that I like is I like working out. I like the Ravens. I kick it with my girl, like playing Xbox, and I like eating good food. Outside of that, it's just like, what else I want to do?
And guys, when I ask you questions, it's really what you think about. Okay, it's not any pressure on you guys. Okay, it's just what you think. So it's kind of like not a wrong answer because it's what you think. Kufu, what about yourself? How do you perceive your life?
I see my life as just a collection of experiences, I guess. You know what I mean? Nothing really good or bad. They're both just an experience. So I'm just learning as I go along. You know what I mean? Like every day you're learning something, whether you know it or not. So that's an experience. So that's, I guess, you can see my life as just a complete experience.
Okay. Yeah. I can dig that, man. That's the same thing my cousin used to say. He used to pop up and always be like,
my name is Big Jeff, and I'm ready to see where the hot dog's at.
that's my little cousin Jeff. That's my big little cousin Jeff. You know, he always
man, big motherfucking Jeff.
Yeah, I think he kidding the Kufu a minute because they kind of look like each other in the eyebrows a little bit.
You think Jody?
Okay, next question. Next question. What do you prefer? Time or freedom?
Time or freedom?
Well, I mean, time is kind of synonymous with each other. Time is kind of freedom. You know, it's kind of I don't know what you're asking.
Yo,
I think because with freedom you can make time.
Yeah, so give me more.
Yeah, but the more time you have, the more freedom you can get. So it's kind of synonymous with each other. It kind of go hand in hand. The more time you have, the more freedom you get. The more freedom you have, the more time you have. So
there's really no such thing as having more time.
Technically, he's right on it.
But if you have more freedom,
more free.
But JP, we gotta send you like to school on school of how to ask questions.
It's simple and plain, man.
I feel like,
simple and plain. You making it hard.
I feel like if you don't,
usually people say like, "Yo, you want more time, freedom." Like, you usually correlate time and freedom together.
That's what I'm saying.
But you're saying or.
Yeah, I mean, it ain't a math question. It's just what you prefer. And like I say, fellas, it's not something that is too like you have to break down or pull out a formula or something to complete. It's something that you think it is,
but it's not to break down. It's literally what you're saying.
From the way you asked the question, you know, for like the first thing that come to my head, I would say I need more time. You know what I'm saying? Not like to really try to think into it, to understand what you're saying. The first thing that come to my head would say, I would need some more time. I would love more time.
Next question.
But what would that time let you do though? It gives you more freedom to do whatever it is that you need to do.
Right. I kind of view it like if you're on the clock from like a 9 to 5, or if somebody's controlling your time and you have limited freedom, then your time.
So essentially you want more freedom. Then you would want more freedom.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's a great way of thinking it out the box, there.
Right, next question.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready for the next question. Next question: does it make sense to make plans?
Does it make plans? Yeah, of course.
To an extent.
Why? Why to an extent?
Well, you still got to be organized, and have an idea of what you're doing and, the step-by-step phase. But it's only to an extent because there's so much variables in life that things are never going to go exactly how you plan. But having a blueprint always keeps you on track.
Yeah. Prioritizing is everything. You know what I'm saying? So, yes.
I would agree with that.
I feel that.
So we all know. Go ahead, D.
No, I feel that. I feel what everybody said. Yeah.
So we all know that life can be taken away as quick as we blink, right? Anything can happen at any time. So when you're actually making a plan and it don't come through, I mean, do you live for today or do you live for the next day? I'm trying to get my brother in right now. Somebody pick it up.
You gotta do both.
Yeah, man.
Saying carpe diem, right? Seize the day. I mean, you live for the day, but you're plan for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's like working out. You're working out now, but you're still trying to get to a certain goal 10,
Exactly.
in 12 months.
Praise the Lord, everybody.
What's up,
Yeah.
man?
Yeah.
What's happening? Yeah, Lord, what's happening, man? Good to see you up in
Oh.
JPTV again.
Good
Love to
y'all,
see you
man.
up in here, man. Love to see you up in here. Okay, next question. All right.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about what happened today? As far as the inauguration, all the blacks are excited that Biden is in office just because a so-called black lady, Kamala Harris, is beside him. So, how do y'all feel about it?
I feel hoodwinked.
Hillary.
Run them up.
First of all,
There you go.
hold on. First of all, let's get something straight, okay? It ain't all the motherfucking blacks. Second of all, it's only black women mostly. And Leslie. I don't even think it's a lot of black men.
It's a lot about black community. Just happy,
You know,
right?
they're happy for all the wrong reasons, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we've been bamboozled for years, man. This whole motherfucking time, our lifetimes, like everybody look like they're in their 30s, close to 40. And people before us, our grandparents, mothers, and all of them, man, we've been bamboozled for years, champ. We always been like they put blinders on us so we can only see forward to where they want us to see, which is things of this world, man. This educational system schnit, the money system schnit. We've been bamboozled for years. None of this shit is true, man. All this shit is, and always have been, like I said, from the white man. And the white man means nothing but motherfucking trouble.
Hey,
Period.
yo,
Always have been. Everybody knows the math about the white man.
at
And
this point,
these
at this
particular
point, I
white
didn't even
people,
know.
but it's real.
Yeah, at this point, it ain't even no white man, black man. It's just
I
people
agree.
who have a certain agenda.
I agree. Yeah, it's been past that black man, white man shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we've been past.
Don't fall for that. Look. I don't like to get into these topics because it's too controversial. But I always tell people, just read a couple books on like 48 Laws of Power, psychology. Like, just read books on psychology and manipulation, and you see that it's always just trying to move a certain people a certain way. So 100, 200, 300 years ago, when the majority was white people, it's like, okay, we got to make those people think a certain way. The last 50 years, since black fought for their rights and stuff, now it's like, oh shit, we got to make the black people think a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Same psychological tactic.
I gotta disagree with you on that one. I gotta disagree with you on that one. What's it for?
What do you mean?
What you disagree with?
So 200-300 years ago, blacks were more populous than whites in the country. Just the FYI.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There were more slaves than white people in the country, hence the 3/5 of a man, et cetera, et cetera. But
That's why I like you, Kufu.
So with that being said, since we are talking about that now, before we get to does racism exist? What does it mean when black people say all my people? What does that mean?
When black people or when us as a black person?
Yeah, but you know how, let me give you an example. You know how you say, oh yeah, they're my people. I'm fighting for my people. What does that mean? Well, what does my people mean?
I don't know.
Well, a lot of people would say the black race, I guess the black community. That would be your first your thought when you hear black person say, oh my people.
I would say that it means all Africans across the diaspora. That's what I would think. My people, because if you think about it, whatever one black person does in another country, it's going to affect us all. We're all going to hear about it.
I never really feel it like that. Like, especially like in the States, I feel like if a black person says my people, I think African people are separated from that. And I also think African people on their own try to distinguish themselves from African Americans. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't have an opinion on it.
I got an opinion.
Go ahead, go. Yeah,
I'm African.
Okay.
So for me is not we're trying to distinguish ourselves. We're African.
Right.
There's no distinction. It's geopolitically, you're either African or American or whatever, but you're still African. A lion born in a pig's den does not make that lion a pig. You know what I mean?
Right.
So when I say when one person does it in another country, we're all going to feel it. Like we're all going to hear about it some one way or another. So it's going to affect us some way or another. Even the people that look at us because of what somebody else did in another country, they're going to, we're all going to feel it some way or another. So when I say all my people, it means all Africans across the diaspora, all across the world, the planet, not just in your community or whatever. Because
so
bigger than your community.
So you saying people that's the black people that's even committing murder and raping and killing is still your people, right?
Just because they don't look like you, just because they don't agree with what your morals or whatever, doesn't mean they're not your people. They're still African, however you want to look at it. They were born African before they got whatever it is in their head, and they're going to die African, regardless of what you're saying. So
I feel what you're saying.
Help people in those positions, or you can say, forget them. They're out of my race. They're trash.
But if they're born over here in America, how can you associate, not you per se, but like if one of us, how can we start a life in Africa if we're from here?
I mean, put it like this: when people say, "I want to go on a vacation," right? Let's say they want to go to Paris, right? A black person. The first thing you should ask them, "Who do you know in Paris?" Most times they're gonna say, "I don't know anybody," obviously because you don't fucking speak French, right? But you're gonna go anyway. You don't know the layout of the place. You don't know all the lingo. You don't know where to go, the spots, whatever. You got to find that shit out on yourself. So it's the same thing with Africa. When black people say, "Oh, I don't know anybody in Africa," or "I've never been Africa," well, take a trip. The same thing, same way you would go about going in Paris to find out the sights and shit and over there. Well, the same thing you can do in Africa.
Well, let me tell you. Well, some white people have African DNA.
Wait, like guess who? Guess who?
Oh, let's not go too far.
So is that including our people too?
Look here, man.
I don't know who you consider.
Hold on.
My people have kinky hair, dark skin.
So we're going off genetics, not location of being born.
Let me help you out.
You talking to me?
Let me help you out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we're going off genetics, not location of where the person's born. I found out the other day that Elon Musk is born in South Africa.
I'm going by genetics. I'm not going by geopolitical confirmation. So, for instance, a white man saying he's African, I disregard you. You're not African. You can,
but being African, you can't. African is based on geo whatever, not based on genetics.
You're wrong. Geopolitically, you're African.
Let me see if y'all agree with this right here. What I'm about to say.
Is he genetically an African? Is he a Negroid? No, he's not.
Okay, I'm with you.
He has African blood, though.
He doesn't have African blood.
Let me see if y'all agree with this.
White man's DNA, he is African too. He has a strand of African, which makes him an African.
Hold on, Jay. Hold on. Let me ask y'all. Let me propose.
No, it makes him a hybrid.
Let me say something real quick.
Yeah.
Let me see if y'all agree with this. Let me see if y'all agree with this real quick. When you say my people, right? Let me tell you what that shit consists of. Honestly, from the root of it, the whole sentence, what it means, the subject, the verb, all that shit. When you say my people, that shit applies to whoever got the same fucking mindset. Each other. That's my people. Then whatever is the basis of one's mindset, and they connect with other people, those are whoever people they are. Like in a cartel,
I'm gonna disagree.
Like I say, these Caucasian out now, these fucking Caucasians ain't nothing but cartels, man. Look at it. They do shit together. They accomplish something. They celebrate. The next thing you know, they fucking turn on each other.
I mean, that's all
perspective. Kill each other.
Though. Saying my people is all perspective. You can say anybody.
Let me tell you what saying my people means.
The same hat.
My people. Saying my people and why I don't say it is just one of that shit to sound nice or to sound good, like sound like you give a fuck. You don't give a fuck. My people, nigga, you don't give a fuck. Like, you care about your family first, and then a couple people who business partners, and then that's it.
You're taking it the wrong way. And that's why we don't have unity, because you're taking it the wrong way.
The reason why we don't have unity is because people say my people don't give a fuck about like 90% of the people.
Because they think like you.
They don't think like me. They're the ones that say my people and get the influence of the people, but they don't really give a fuck. They just say what gets the influence.
Well, I can't.
It's like imagine Obama said my people. Yeah, really.
I can't judge everybody individually. Obviously, when I hear it, and when I interpret it, when somebody says my people, I think that's what I said to you before is what I think of. Just because you're not on the same continent, or you don't think like me, or you don't have the same values, it doesn't mean you're not my people.
Understood. But like I said, people say it. People just say it because it sounds good. Because if we really ask each other right now, our day-to-day basis, what we would be doing for our people, we're probably not doing nothing other than our direct circle.
So, for instance, when I say my people, if I open a store, I'm going to have mostly black shit in there, right? White people could come shop in there. But if I say it's for my people, do I know who the psyche or the mentality of the person that's coming into my store? I don't know that, but I know the person looks like me. That's what I'm concerned about, because I know that person that looks like me is going to have the same problems that I do. So when I say my people, that's what I'm concerned about, not because the person is a deviant or he thinks different. You putting that stigma or that connotation on that, you separated yourself already. You don't see your people as your brother, because you're separating yourself, because you see, okay, well, he doesn't think like me, he can't be like me. You already separated. You're not.
So what are you basing it on to be your brother? Let me write this down.
You got to be black.
I just told you. For me, I say for me, if you look like me, if you look like me, you're gonna most likely have the same problems and obstacles that I do. For me, I consider those are my people, right? I'm not saying they have to think like me or have to talk like me, but I know that they look like me and they're going to have the same problems that I do when I wake up and when I sleep. That's what I'm saying. So saying, okay, because they don't think like me, they're not my people. I mean, but if that guy goes and you both get locked up, or you both get, I mean, if something happens, you both are there, they're going to look at you the same way. They don't give a fuck about what you're thinking or what your religion is. You both look black. End of discussion. They're not going to talk to you, find out how you're thinking.
See, this is what
I think it definitely depends on like what angle you coming from it with. So like, to your point, I definitely agree. Like if you have a store and you're marketing to a certain demographic, like all black people, I definitely think fit within the same mold. But if you're looking at like the Black Lives Matter, everything that they're promoting, like if you're gonna go talk to somebody who's protesting for George Floyd, I think they're going to think very domestically. I don't think they're thinking about the people who are suffering with SARS in Nigeria. I just think that's very localized. So if somebody's saying like my people are dying, they're not thinking about somebody in Africa.
You're right.
They're just thinking about somebody in the States, right? So like in that context, it's very
mindset.
My people in the United States, right? But like you're saying, if I'm gonna go to a networking event down the street and there's a whole bunch of white people, whether it's an African, whether it's a black person, whether it's somebody from the Caribbean, they're going to be the first person I rap to, just because I feel like they're my people.
Right.
Exactly.
I feel you on that. I agree with you on that. But what you're saying is basically the same thing what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think
context.
But the community part, where you are, you're gonna localize your my people saying because of your community in your immediate area. Yeah. But for me, it's like me personally, I've kind of grown past that, where I see like we're all in it together, however you want to look at it. I mean, community-based and neighborhood and community, et cetera, et cetera. But if that one person goes to another country, they're a nigga in that country too. You know what I mean?
And guess what, Kufu? When we get attacked by aliens, then we're all fucking humans.
Hey, stay right there. We got to take a quick commercial break.
Find an alien to ever attack it.
Right there. We got to take a quick commercial break.
Why I'm moving and stuff? What you trying to sell me? I ain't with that, bruh. I ain't with that, bruh. No, listen. This for you and your family. You can take it with your sons. Meet your personality. Yes, even if
All right. That first half was amazing. I really appreciate it. All right. I see a kid up. The kid's up. Anyway, so that was amazing, right? That first half was amazing. Now we're coming to the second half of the meat and potatoes.
I want to go back to that alien comment that he just made, just in case. I want to blow his ass up.
I'll let you read. I'll let you rebuttal after this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna introduce the topic. The topic is: does racism exist?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Does racism exist? Right. And we're going to, go through a couple of videos to see how racism exists. Okay. We're going to try to, give some examples on, how racism exists. We're going to first ask the panel to give some examples on how racism exists. So let me bring everyone up. Okay. All right. So, first, Kufu, does racism exist?
It definitely does.
Why does it exist?
Because it was created. That's
what does racism do to how have you been affected by racism?
Example, you mean? Okay.
How have I been affected by racism?
Yeah, because you say it exists, right? Because only if something exists, you would have to go through it.
My education, my job, let me see, just going to the store, riding a bike, going past cops, getting pulled over. I mean, I can go down the whole fucking list here. Like, I think
Jay,
he goes what I was saying back to about
yes and no.
Everybody on this panel looks like me, and I'm pretty sure everybody in this panel has some kind of instance with racism. So I don't know anybody. For instance, I don't know anybody's mentality right now. I can say all of you right now because all of you are probably look like me and probably going to say some racist thing that happened to you.
Not me. I've never experienced it.
So what is racism?
Is racism?
Never.
And I want to add. First of all, yes, racism exists, right? Like every other ism, feminism, capitalism, socialism.
No ism exists.
Right? Every ism exists. Now, the reality is, right, especially now, it's how you let it affect you. It's like, for example, when I was saying, like, I've never been affected by racism, somebody said, well, yes, I'm affected by it based on whatever happened socially and stuff like that, right? So I was like, okay, cool, but everybody's affected by different things external of them one way or another by law of cause and effect. But in terms of directly, no. And the reason why no is because I personally I didn't find out I was black until I was like 13 years old. Right?
Right.
I was Jamaican my whole life. Then I moved to Queens, all of a sudden I'm black. Right?
Hey, really? Fuck that. No, B.
And so I came from Jamaica. Hear this. I came from Jamaica when I was 6, right? Lived in Brooklyn for like a year, right? And
Jamaica, you ain't know you was black?
And because Caribbean people, now that the media gets bigger, it's over there. But when you're in the Caribbean, you're just what you are because you're living in an all black country doing whatever you want, right? You only see white people like that. I went to an all-white school from like 5th grade. No, I went from an all-white school from 2nd grade to 5th grade, and even then, I never even heard the word racism. Nope. Those were the best years of my life. We read books, like everything, right? So the whole conversation of like black and white, like those words weren't even used in the school. You know what I'm saying? But then finally, I moved to Queens, right? And then when I moved to Queens, I started getting bullied because I didn't have brand name and all this different stuff that like nobody cared about when I was at that school. And it got to a point where I started hearing, the word black and like, yo, those white people like this and they like that. And I'm like, my white friends are pretty cool. I don't know what y'all talking about. You know what I'm saying? And that's when I realized, whoa, like white? Then that's when I realized, okay, they're white, I'm black. So that's when it really registered like, oh, wow, there's a separation between us. Because as a kid, I'm just looking at this as another little ass kid like me. So basically from junior high school up until high school, that's when I realized, okay, I'm now living in a black community per se. You know what I'm saying? Because now there's no white people, literally no white people around. So that's when I realized, oh, there's this whole black white thing going on. And then when the whole Trayvon Martin and different stuff popped up, I'm like, oh shit, like this is some bigger thing than I even noticed it to be.
Man,
but being that I grew up
after Jamaica,
with a general concept of white people from when I was a kid and how cool they were and stuff like that, like I never saw or never thought of white people in a negative way. Even when we did history class and stuff, they never explained slavery the way they did in the history books. You know what I'm saying? It was just like indentured servants or some shit like that. So it's not until like high school I started realizing like, yo, like I was like, and this is like 4 years ago. I'm like, wait a minute, like, yo, like niggas is really fucked up.
4 years ago.
Finally, hold on, wait. Finally, I went to college and I went upstate and I went to a predominantly white college, you know, and that's when I
oh my.
Then when I went to a predominantly white college, it's like I felt regular again, because it's like this is what I grew up with, like both black and white. You know what I'm saying? Not just black, because there's a certain mindset and a way things move when you're in a predominantly white area, which was what
so
I
you
preferred.
been in a predominantly black area and felt at home, or felt, you know, like them was not saying your people, fuck the your people thing, but from literally in high school, I literally went, you know, I'm gonna ask, in high school, I literally went to my mom and I said, why are black people like this? They don't like to read books. Anything about education or something smart is always fucking music and sports. Like, because in the white school, it was like the value system there was different. But you got
so
white people.
Now hold on. I want to tell you something right now.
I don't get it.
I know that, and I experienced that when I went to college.
But you still felt at home, more at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the value system was different.
Now when you never experienced racism, right? When you think you never experienced racism, you also say that you.
So wait, hold on. So now let me explain that whole concept of me not experiencing racism, right? So with that, I started to really think about, okay, like whatever racism this, and I'll give you an example. I was playing basketball, and you know, I was playing basketball with a white dude, right? And he crossed me over. He crossed me over, whatever, like that, right? And then this other dude was like, "Oh shit, he locked you up. He locked you up." You know what I'm saying? Like as in like referring to crossing me up. And then another black dude got triggered and be like, "Yo, why you have to use those words?" And I was just like, "Whoa, hold on. Like, why you getting mad about it?" He's just like, "Why you have to say he locked you up or he chained you up or some shit like that? Like, why you have to use those words?" And I realized he was the subconscious connection between, like, you know, racism or cops locking up and all that. So when I say I never experienced racism before, I mean as in like maybe I have, but when I interact with people, I don't wake up looking like, oh, they did something sketchy, it's racist, or it's, you know, whatever like that.
Here's the thing with racism, right? Racism is very subtle to the point where you don't notice it. Like, you gotta understand, racism has evolved from the time of slavery till now. Like they'll do things and say things in your face, and you won't pick up to it because you're not in that circle to understand what they're saying to you. Like, for instance, you say you never experienced racism. There's a good chance that you've obviously exhibited the same racism that you quote unquote never experienced.
You don't even know.
And you don't even know it. Just the fact that you
I never experienced it either.
Just the fact that you feel comfortable around other people.
And that's what I said. That's what you said when you say experience, like it's like it becomes subjective because it's like
keep it short. Keep it short.
What I'm saying is the racism that you don't experience, right? You probably exhibited that same racism to your own people and not even notice it because you've hung around so many white people and experienced their life. You basically acclimated to their lifestyle that you exhibited that racism to your own people to the point where you don't even feel comfortable around them.
Yeah,
so is it racism or is it a mindset?
No, it's racism.
No,
racism is a mindset. It is a mindset. That's the problem. Racism is a mindset.
That's right. You're giving it to the system because before, you know, when the slavery shit started, right? Before the slavery shit started, there was no freaking acknowledgement that we were black and they were white.
Preach. He was right. Preach.
So it's the same shit as the word nigga. That shit ain't existed until the slavery shit started too. Now, if they giving us names, you letting them control you again. There ain't no freaking name. It's humans, humans, humans. That's it. This name snip is like curse words, bruh. If you get an argument with your brother and y'all start cursing each other, Do you not build momentum up just by the curse words alone?
So do you believe racism exists?
It's no fucking such thing.
Right.
What?
You're
It's
absolutely
no such
right.
thing, man.
All right, let me ask you this.
It's just people having certain mindset to each other.
No
Because
such thing.
before there was racism, guess what there was? There was tribalism. There's always some ism that people use to put themselves into certain categories.
There's no such thing of any ism.
Let me ask you this, Lord. Let me ask you this, Lord. If you had a homeless guy, a white homeless guy and a black homeless guy standing right beside each other, right? And you had $1, who would you give it to?
Neither one of them. I split it.
Nah.
I
You
get
had
50 cents to one, 50 cents to the other.
And
we're not doing that. You have
what Kufu said right there.
You have $1, and you have to give it to either the black homeless guy or the white homeless guy standing right beside each other.
The black
Who
one.
are you going to give it to?
The black
You know
one.
what I do? Since you're gonna put it that way, who would I give it to? I wouldn't give it to neither one of them.
No, I said you have to give it to him. You have to give it to him. Who would you give it to?
It depends on the context of the situation.
You're trying to make me.
See, that's what I'm saying. Yo,
why not? Hold on. Why not structuralize that into making me do the right thing? Why you gotta make me do the wrong thing?
Exactly.
You either give it to one person, keep it for yourself, or you give it to somebody to help somebody else.
But that's not a
So see,
nobody. You're hurting.
We've
watered. Hold on. So I'm making it.
We've watered our minds down to the point that we're looking at the person's black or white to determine if we give them something.
Get it out.
Very pertinent question I'm asking them. You're not trying to let me ask them. I'm trying to give you the
trick question.
Not having to go through that and just saying you have to give them the money, because if you keep it for yourself, you're hurting 2 people. So I'm asking you to just give them the money. You have to give it to one.
Fuck it, I'll hurt 2 people than to choose one.
Hold on, no bullshit.
Hold on, man.
So now I'm hurting 2 people, but then you're making it only could give it to one of the other.
I'm absolving you of that. I'm absolving you of that.
Contradicting yourself, bro.
Hold on. I'm absolving you of that confusion. You have to give the homeless guy a quarter, the $1, or the black homeless guy $1. You have to give the $1 away. Period.
But listen to what you said. You said if I keep it to myself.
Just answer the question. You either give it to the white homeless guy or the black homeless guy. Who are you going to give it to?
I got a question, yo.
So I'm gonna give it to the black guy. But go ahead and say your question, D. Like D had a floor.
I got 2 questions. So like when I went to college, I went to a predominant white school as well. I played football. When I got to school, I had people ask me, could I get into this school if I wasn't a scholar athlete? Do y'all think my white teammates were asked the same question? Like,
right?
Really? Like dead ass. Y'all
So
can
who
like
asked you?
They wouldn't even dare to ask that question.
They wouldn't even dare to ask them. White
Why
girls,
not?
white people on. Because this is an automatic assumption that like they would look at them and just think they went there off of academics anyways.
Right.
My school was just littered with black athletes. If you weren't an athlete, you probably if you were black, you were probably an athlete. If not, you just didn't go to the school. It's just the way it was. Why do you think people were able to get into the Capitol and not get shot last week?
Exactly.
People were out on the streets protesting all year, getting hit with tear gas, getting shot with rubber bullets. What did that have to do with the color of the skin? If you don't think it had something to do with the color of the skin, you might be Stevie Wonder, to be honest.
Actually, I don't.
So
no. And now in today's day, bruh, yes,
I don't think any police officer
relevant. And now in today's time, after the slavery thing, yes, they made the skin tone thing relevant. Yes, I agree with you all day. If there was black people or Spanish people, man, that motherfucker be a bloody mess.
Bloody mess.
A bloody mess.
So is that not racist?
I don't think they'd be dumb. I don't think that they would be dumb enough to have bloodshed on that type of ground.
What are you talking about?
Honestly.
Ground. What are you talking about? Cops died. Citizens died in the Capitol Rotunda. What are you talking
about? Like 5 people.
Huh?
Yeah, like 5 people.
They died here.
That's people.
Thank you.
I'm talking about in terms of retaliation of the police force.
What are you talking about?
Why they never went hard like with the protests?
The police killed two or three people.
Why didn't they use tear gas? Why didn't they use rubber bullets?
Right.
They weren't using that?
No,
they were smacking them with the
Capitol. The Capitol. Literally the most important building in the United States. They let these people stroll right in. Black people couldn't get no. Yo, I live on the hill. Anytime I run by the Capitol, I'm already on my pieces. I'm like, I might be listening to something in my earbuds, and I don't even want to hear the wrong. Like, I don't even want to hear Jay-Z say "shoot" in my beats because I feel like I'm gonna get shot. Yeah.
All right. So there's factors you got to look at.
After slavery, that's when racism started. Racism really started in America during the 1700s. Before that, we were indentured servitude, but we can also have land and we also had freedom. It was until they made the laws during the 1700s where we became actually black slaves. You understand? So that's when racism.
So you do know that blacks had other blacks as slaves too. So are they racist? When they were selling the
like Liberia, the history of Liberia.
When they were selling blacks to the Arabs, right? There were other blacks being sold to the Arabs than the Arabs sold to the Europeans. Are those blacks racist as well?
So that's what you call tribalism.
Yeah.
Oh, another ism.
Who? You see, that's why
ism didn't exist.
That's why I don't give a shit about racism.
You have to realize what it is. It's basically either you're doing good or either you're doing good or bad or right or wrong.
Or what do you want to categorize yourself?
Good or evil, right or wrong. When you put a term on it, when you put the term on it, you kind of separate yourself. And a lot of people, especially black people, we always fall for the worldly definitions, the ego definitions of what things mean, and when we fall for it, we become blind to.
Nah, you can't say that because that's for instance, you look at science, you separate different sciences by what you know what I'm saying, by what you're experiencing. So it's the same thing with tribalism, racism, socialism, except it's all isms, but it's
not ism. What they're doing is making a judgment on your moral character. What are black people suffering from now? Racism or a lack of moral character?
Neither one.
Both. I think both.
A lack of identity.
Nah.
I think we don't have our language, we don't have our speech, we don't have our culture.
All that shit don't mean nothing.
So why are some blacks, as far as Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Snoop Dogg, do you think they are affected by racism, or do you think they have been affected by racism but still made it to the top?
I mean, I haven't lived with them to know their lifestyle, but I'm pretty sure
they've been affected, but they know how to stay in their lane. A lot of them that made up to that. They know how to stay in their lane.
So is racism a form of hate that you can overcome, or is it something that you're born with?
I mean, mentality. Like I said, you can change your mentality.
You learn it. Like I said, I didn't know I was black until I was 13. Y'all was all laughing.
You gotta stop saying that.
No, I'm saying you gotta
I was like, sometimes I be looking in the mirror. I be looking in the mirror like, I'm black. I'm black.
After you came up with
Africans in Africa won't identify as black people.
We don't identify.
He's probably right. He's probably right. So that term "black" only probably we know about.
I'm Jamaican.
It's tribalism. We don't identify as black or Spanish.
What
tribe against my tribe? That's all it is.
Clear tribalism up, because that's the word that I'm kind of fumbling on.
All right, so
and I like how you switch the term to tribalism when it's only on black on black.
That's what it's called. So if it's white on white, it's still tribalism. What are you talking about? Anyway, so first, let's say I'm Igbo, right? Let's say you're Yoruba, right? We're we're still black, right? We're still African, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we war against each other, that's tribalism. Mm-hmm. If I'm white and you're black and we war against each other, I mean, you're not African, I'm not European. What do you call that?
Racism.
Hey, thank you.
Racism.
Okay, thank you. So what?
Or I wouldn't say it's racism. I'll just call it for what it is, because I don't want to fall for that type of definition. It's just evil or hate. It's just hate.
It's just a complex word, bro. That's why, like, even when we say we face racism, the only reason why we're saying we face
where we got racism from is from race hustlers that put that out there when emotional young black boys and girls were lost and torn apart from home and born in a single home. Hold on, Kufu, I hear you. Hold on. And
Talk like that.
Yeah. Okay, so when the dad was forced to leave the house, the mother was, filled up with anger, turning the son away from the father, and it built up all that anger. And so when the boy came out, he always yearning for that spot of the father, and then you yearn for that. So
You use the word force. That's an assumption.
Hold on, follow me now. So when the little boy got lost out here, they go listen to Race Hustlers, Jesse Jackson, Maxine Waters, Minister Louis Farrakhan. They get pumped up by these race hustlers and make things make it seem like it's racist when it's not. It's just an illusion, and they fill you up with hate. And being an emotional kid without a father in a home, you take up that and you mimic that. So all your actions is just his thoughts and came from the race hustlers.
So what I'm going to say is that's all bullshit. No disrespect.
Can I say something?
Hold on.
Wait, come on, Kofi. Yeah, you was talking mad long. Let me say something. Look, racism is simply this, right? Kufu, earlier when I said something about the mindset of the people, Kufu was just like, well, there was more black people than there was white people, right? And the other guy's like, yeah. But the context of what I was saying is that being that the gatekeepers of opportunity were in the hands of other white people, right? And being that they're not black like us, we figure because they prevent us and they hinder us, that's a form of racism because they're looking like they want to support the other white person before they support a black person, right? That's the concept of racism. The same thing with tribalism. Tribalism is where certain black people who hold certain powers and or gatekeepers of certain opportunities, they'll support another black person who's in their tight circle versus another group of black person. So at the end of the day, it's the same concept. It's just that when it's the genetic, I guess the genetics of the person, we find a different label to put it. So most black people in America, of course, face racism because the gatekeepers to opportunities and to a lot of things are white people. While back in Africa, right, after shit really settled down, the gatekeepers are other black people. It's the same shit. It's just that based on geographical location and the demographical location and genetics, we just call it something different.
So, like I was saying, because we're running out of time. We're running out of time, and what we're going to do, if you guys don't mind, we're going to shift over to KNYN platform, and we'll continue to pick up this topic. You guys are more welcome to come through there, and whoever's watching, you all can come through too. But let me finish with this, right? Let me give y'all some pointers because there was this guy named Walter Williams. He was a black economist, right? He also, you got to remember, when the race hustlers came in, everything went down in the community. A lot of stuff started to happen. A lot of blacks built with hate. A lot of blacks felt like all white men were the white man and the devil.
Because of crack.
So a study in 1880, a family structure shows 75% of black families were families, both parents. In New York City in 1925, 85% of families, cousins, even their cousins had two-parent homes. In 1838, Encyclopedia of Social Science, 11%. Black children born out of wedlock, 11%. Today is 75% black children born out of wedlock. So, so back then, it seems like we were doing better under certain Jim Crow laws that people really thought that it was really bad for black people. But during those times, a black person said those were some of the best times that he had. And now it's become worse than it was ever before. So if the race hustlers really wanted to get black people on the right path, he would really be beating black people up to stand up for family and to be with the family and build for the family to have the roots, to not become ignorant black or ignorant niggas to attract that attention.
I want to add one last thing. And before you go, yes, that's 100% correct. And what people think I'm making, like, you know, trying to push accountability to the other side.
Yeah, 30 seconds.
Women, if you can control the minds of women, you fuck up everything because they influence the men and the children. Moral of the story.
Okay. Anyone else want to say something, man? We got 2 minutes before we close out.
Influence.
Okay, let's play this clip. Let's play this clip before anything, because I know how black people always say that they want their shit. Black,
everything you know.
My man was talking before we got on here, and he said, "I want my shit." Listen to this clip right quick.
I was protesting Don't Ask, Don't Tell repeal because I served in the military for 5 years. I grew up poor and black in Akron, Ohio. All right? I went to one of the worst schools in Akron, Ohio. I went to the military, risked my life multiple times, okay, to get every single thing that I have right now. There is no reason that every single black kid on the block can't do that same thing. Oh, no.
Basically, what he was saying, they were talking about racism. They were saying that it's nothing that can stop you, so it don't exist. It's just an illusion that they put up in front of you. All right, thank you for coming to JPTV. Believe it or don't. I love it. Racism don't exist. It's just a figment of your imagination. You can't switch the term up. You can't switch the term when it's on black just because it's white on black. You can't switch the term up. You can't do it because you only add. Okay, Kufu, we're gonna send y'all the link. I'm gonna send each and every one of y'all the link to KNYN. Everyone come through. Everyone come through and be a part of it. All right. Thank y'all for coming. We're gonna end up with a commercial. Appreciate it.
Why I'm moving and stuff. What you trying to sell me? I ain't with that, bruh. I ain't with that, bruh. No, listen. This for you and your family. You can take it.